heading to Ontario with Ollie. He has baseball practice today, and initially Amy was going to take Ollie over here. I was going to have to try and get the kids picked up from school. There was a lot going on, and there's less today. I'll tell you what, when this industry wants to come together, it can achieve a lot very, very quickly. And I see the outpouring of support for Hunter's family and for Chloe over the last 2 days. And it's sometimes you forget, what a tremendous industry this is. And then something happens that just brings everybody together, and the outpouring of support, as I said, just that I see on social media is amazing. And I'd sent a note to Chloe, and she had got back to me, and it's just I try my best to explain what took place or how I felt or what's going on. And I can't say that I've ever felt like this before, so I suspect it's probably a little bit of maybe survivor's guilt, right? You see somebody get injured when you weren't, right? All of us drivers go out there and drive horses as best we can and as tough as we can to make money, right? This is what the job is. And to see somebody get injured is hard enough, but to see somebody pass away doing something that you just did 5 minutes before, or you just did, or we're going to do later on. I had somebody message me and they asked me, I know the timing's bad, I was just looking for your thoughts on one of our horses. And it dawned on me, I don't remember much of Wednesday night. I remember being in the winner's circle with Westland Warrior. I remember parts of the evening. But to give you guys that update the other day, I had to go back and watch the races. I said that I underdrove Blue Ventura because I watched the race. I don't remember it, to be honest. So a little bit of that, I think, with everybody going on, it's just a shock. Just in shock. But I am going to do my best, as I said in the video the other day, that somebody posted on Facebook, I guess. These videos help me, right? They give me an opportunity to heal a little bit and get my feelings out. Because it's not that easy. This is an industry that doesn't process this stuff very well. And I don't know that there is an industry that processes grief very well. But they do help. So I'm going to do my job. I'm going to continue to do my job best I can. And, as I said to somebody today, the hole in that industry, in our industry, especially in either Western Pennsylvania or Northeastern Ohio or Southern Ohio for that matter, that hole will never be filled. It can be patched, right? Because we live in an industry that is day to day, and we're constantly going, we're constantly on the go. It will pass. But from time to time, we'll remember. Something will trigger all of us, and that hole will never be filled, I don't think. But we all have to do our job. I was glad the other day somebody had sent me a note about talking about the accident for what it was. And I hope the people that posted online about wanting to discuss the incident don't think that I was casting aspersions on him, saying you shouldn't do that. Of course, anytime anything happens, there's nothing wrong with the dialogue about what could have been done differently. The one thing I think everybody can agree on is that what happened in race 11 on Wednesday was the very epitome of the word accident. So, I'm going to do my best to put it away when I can and deal with it when I can't. But for now, I do have a job to do, the same as everybody else in this industry. So I'm going to start by doing mine. Last night we had 4 horses racing, 2 of them in together. Rose Run AJ, I thought raced good last night. I would like to see a little more Eye of the Tiger from him. You know, we talk about that from time to time. I think he was in a position where he could have pounced on them and probably been a winner. But he looks like he's going to be competitive in that class. James gets to know him a little bit better every week. He gets to know James a little bit better every week. And being beat a length of the wire certainly means that he belongs in there. And I think it's a good spot for him. You know, one of our clients said, should be in Ohio where his claiming tag is higher and the racing is easier. I don't know that the racing is easier. I think the mile that, now keep in mind, Blue Ventura's class is a class below where Rose Run AJ fits. I guess that's not true. He only has 1 win. It's not true. There's no walkover. 57-28 at the end of it. I don't see him just going up behind the gate 6-5 and running off in the earplugs. I think he's in a good spot where he's at. And although the claiming tag is maybe a little bit lower than it would be in Ontario or in Ohio, purse money's a little bit higher also, I guess. So I'm not really in a big hurry to move him just yet. I think he's getting some racing experience, and I'd love to see him get a little bit better, a little bit better, and a little bit better. I think you're going to see baby steps in that regard. You know, and addressing the situation. We had a number of people, and these would be my partners on the Rose Run AJs, the Rose Run Alexandras, the Never Lose Felixes. We hoped that they would push forward and become that horse. Like, now that's a Buckeye, or that's a stallion horse, that's a grassroots horse. But they have to do that, right? You can only put the training in and expect that they do better. And we're going to be less than surprised when it comes to those situations. Sure, we all wanted AJ and Alexander to be Buckeye horses. Hell, wouldn't it be great if they were sire stake horses, wouldn't it? It's not the way it works. They are what they are, and that is that. And there is another side to that coin, although it is lopsided. Although we're less likely to be surprised by an AJ or an Alexandra. We are surprised by a Foxy Seaside once in a while. I am pleased with the way a lot of the horses came back. But my expectations run high also. So I'm going to leave that portion very simply. As long as we have the horses in where they can win, it doesn't really matter if they're an okay Buckeye horse or a pretty decent overnight horse, as long as we can have a place where they are competitive and they can go behind the gate where we have a shot every week. And I think AJ's in a spot where that can take place. Now, later on in the card, we went with Oh He'll Know and Rosetta. I spoke to James a little while ago. We'll talk about the qualifiers today, a schooler today. I didn't want to bring it up, but he picked over Oh He'll Know the first week, and Jody won with her. He picked over Rosetta the second week, and I was driving her, and then Jody ended up with her. He beat James with Rosetta, and then James goes back to Rosetta last night. Tyler Borthwick picks up Oh He'll Know and wins with Oh He'll Know. So I was happy to see Oh He'll Know win. Now she will get a little bit of a break. I'm going to do the time frame, the math real quick. I'm going to look into the first Buckeye and when she needs a break. And if she fits this class, she fits it like once more. Okay, fine. You can leave her alone once more. It's 10 miles to Angola. We're on our way, as I said, to Ontario and the Angola rest stop, which obviously is meaningless to everybody watching this for the most part, but for people that go back and forth and past that, it's nice to see it open today. It was under construction. So Rosetta, a little flat on the end of her mile. You know, James said she should be on a half. So you're probably right. You know, Grand Slam Dio is going to make her way over there. I almost thought about sending Melisandre over there. We have a number of horses that can make their way to Ontario and put up some good numbers there. And if Rosetta needs to come back here, or for that matter, go to a place like Yonkers, then that's possible also. And the reason I say that, get around a half mile try. She gets around a half really good, right? And make no mistake, she could go to Oak Grove. She fits down there. So I guess that should be thought about before we start talking about too much other stuff. But for right now, she's in Ontario. O'Hill knows, I said, just talked about her. I thought she raced well, raced gutsy. I know the mile wasn't great the last quarter, but it wasn't a nice night either. Rained really hard, muddy, cold. Just not a nice night for racing. I thought she raced good to get the job done. You know, it's always important. Winners win. And although we talk about the rain, it could not have rained any harder than it did in Yonkers. Texan Soprano finishing second. The horse that beat him, I remember Black Magic. That's an Ohio-bred horse that won the Next Generation in 2, was set back, but won. And then had a very, very good state career at 2 and 3 in the state of Ohio. So no slouch, and certainly nothing to sneeze at. I thought Texan Soprano raced well also. Now this morning I got up, went to the barn. I had one job to do. I wanted to train Memento Mori. Trained him very, very good. He trained him on 2-2, on the last quarter in 28 flat, maybe 27-4, and it was just above freezing. It was a cool, chilly morning. He trained very, very good. I was happy with the way Mori went, and I jogged a couple of horses. I jogged Neuromancer. I was happy with the way he looked, and I was going to go out with one more before I left for Ontario. And Jason said, why don't you train Rock Shining Star? I know that he trained Save America in 2-1, kept 27 seconds with him. He's ready to go. And I went out and trained Rock Shining Star in 59, last half in 56. He was very, very good also. Both those horses are now ready to go. Greatest Ending trained good today. Jason said he trained well. Drew the 8-hole on Tuesday. Of course, nothing comes easy, right? Still drew poorly next week. And then over in Ontario, a good qualifier with Resolve Indeed. I'd like to see a little better. Her line looks good, like 2-1, 28 seconds on the end of it. Good line. Looked a bit flat, and that was kind of echoed by James. Now, James told me he thought the Chicago Hall's hobbles were a little too tight and that he was a little bit flat. He said, James, the fastest quarter maybe of his life, 27-3. Last half in 56-1. And he went by 2 horses, which he hasn't done a lot of it too, right? He kind of was just present, never attacked, never jumped on them late. Never looked like a horse that was going to... The only one week Greek drove him, and he came from way back, and he was charging, I don't know what he finished, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, something like that. But before that, he left a lot of money on the table last year, didn't he? From where James had spotted him, and the horses he was in with, the way the races went, I thought he left a lot of money on the table, and still made pretty good money. So the qualifier to me, I'm not disagreeing with James. He was sitting behind him. He said maybe a hair flat, but maybe just needed that qualifier. 56-1 last half, 27-3 last quarter. The wind can't be at your back the entire way. So you can say, wind at the, down the lane. Okay, what about the third quarter? So he still come, 28-3. So I thought the horse's qualifier was great. They'll come back with other qualifiers after that. And he did tell me Country Dancing was smooth, schooled well, but also felt a little flat. And I said, well, I might be able to explain that. Terrible her first start at the Meadows. Trained up, probably trained a little bumpy also. Then went out in her last start, made a break, broke a hobble leaving, didn't even finish the race, and then was leaving right after the race. Not really in a situation where I would call her tight. So if you're saying she's a little flat, okay, I'll give you that. All I care about was her gait. He said her gait was, infinitely better than what I saw at the Meadows, is what he said. He said felt like she did the night she won, but maybe a hair flat. But from what I could see, 2 good schoolers and a good qualifier today. A bunch of really good training at Northfield Park. A lot of high temps with the babies right now. We're on top of it. We're out in front of every incident. Nothing is getting away from us. But I shut training down for tomorrow. It's going to rain anyway, probably. I don't like talking about that because the caretakers get it in their head that it's a rain day tomorrow, and then if it doesn't rain, they're all let down. So we try not to say a whole lot about it. But I've spoke to Jason, and we're going to shut it down tomorrow. The horses are either going to jog lightly or not at all. Captain Incredible was supposed to train today, and my plan was to actually take him to the Meadows with me and school him on Tuesday, just to get a feel for him on the bigger track, let him stretch out a little bit. Temperature of 102.1 this morning. He got some butte. Did not jog. He jogged lightly yesterday, did not jog today. If his temperature stays down, he'll jog lightly tomorrow. Is he likely to go to the Meadows? Probably not, but I'll I'll call that a game time decision. Aunt Lily will go over, just relax. For all my partners that say, oh, I don't have PA lesson. Just relax. We're going to take care of it. Aunt Lily's going to qualify Tuesday at the Meadows. Jason did the right thing by her. Just skipped her training this week, trained her yesterday. He said she trained good. He said, if anything, a little pacey. I said, well, we put the flip-flops on her. I said, she trained great last week. He said, fantastic. What's different from today? He said, nothing really. She was steering good, wasn't getting in that bad. Maybe we'll put the hobbles back on her. I said, okay. He said, what about the mud? He said, it was muddy. Flip-flops in the mud. We already know that she struggles a little bit with the flip-flops on. Not bad. She won the next generation with them on. But not quite as explosive with them on. Either way, I don't care. She can qualify with them on Tuesday, and then we'll go from there. Mountaineer Prince, we had the Splints crowd on him. I can't think of a reason not to take him over to the Meadows and school him again. With those on, I got one to qualify for Tim. And then there is another spot or two on the trailer. If I feel that Captain Incredible's had a good start to the week, I'm there Sunday. If the weather's not horrible Sunday, I might even move him on Sunday. A lot of people at Northfield work on Sundays and take Mondays off. I may just move Captain Incredible on Sunday and see how he feels. It's nice to get back into the swing of things a little bit. Obviously, it'll be a while before you see me in fifth gear of chipperness, so to speak. It just kind of feels wrong, if nothing else. But I was, we can't do anything about the past, but I was, as I said, thoroughly pleased with our industry. Proud of our industry today. So, for those of you part of our industry, which is almost all of you, I believe, be proud also. I will talk to you guys later. Tonight, obviously, we're not racing JK Victory today. Gymboree is racing tonight with Manhattan Money and Delicious Stone. Two racing together, another horse after that. Probably one more start in Gymboree, and then she's eyeing the Weiss at the Poconos. So we got some work to do as we move forward into April. And I'll leave it at that. So with that, I'll let you go. Have a great day. If you're like me and you're trying to get over the incident this week, then I hope you find some solace in this video. And for those of you who didn't know Hunter or weren't really connected, you know what? That's okay too. Maybe say a prayer for his kid and his wife, or his fiance Chloe. And we'll be doing a fundraiser for them within the stable also. A lot of people asking that. Of course we will. And we'll have some more updates on that maybe towards the end of this week. Take care, everybody.